Yo, what's up, Wolfden? Man, last night was wild. Everybody's all panicky, and I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why. Let me tell you why. Because yesterday had a long conversation with everybody that was watching, about putting time on your side and randomness on your side, and nobody quite. Some people did, but everybody's like, "What does that mean?" Well, let me explain. If you got liquidated last night because you're borrowing against a bunch of Bitcoin, hoping that you would get super rich in the next month or two, betting on the cycle doing what you would expect it to do, you did not have time or randomness on your side. You said, "Ooh, I'm going to get rich, and here's how. I'm going to borrow against my Bitcoin, and it's going to run really hard in December, and that is how I'm going to get rich." When you, like I said yesterday, you can watch yesterday's video. I gave a million examples. If you define what is going to happen and how it's going to happen, you do not have randomness on your side. Too many things need to go right exactly as you expect them to. That is not random. So for all of you that got liquidated last night, or almost got liquidated last night, because you were borrowing the maximum you could borrow against your Bitcoin, that's an example. That is not randomness on your side. That is a very specific thing needing to go right in order for you to get what you want. That is not time on your side. You needed it to happen in December because all the influencers and all the experts promised you would have a blow off top in December. That is also what I expected, but I certainly didn't tell a bunch of people to do anything about it. And I did not act in a way that put randomness or time against me. So in our Discord, and I was getting texts and people like, "Oh no, I'm going to get liquidated in Nexo. I'm borrowing against my Bitcoin." I didn't even check until this morning because I know that I left room for randomness, and a 40% drawback on Bitcoin is not unheard of. It is actually typical. So I think we're drawed back 40%. I don't know. I didn't do the math. But I think it was about 30-something percent last night. Drew back a little bit more. So probably about 40%. That happened in the 2017 cycle and probably the 2013 cycle. So not only is it strange to assume you're going to have a blow off top just like other cycles, because things can always change, but why would you not also account for a potential pullback, which has happened in other cycles? I don't know, because you're rushing. You're rushing. That's why. You make time your enemy when you say, "Okay, I got to reach all my goals in this bull market, this bull cycle. This is the one." You're wrecking yourself. That is not my methodology. That is not what we teach. That is the antithesis of what I talked about yesterday. It's okay if you want to do that, but don't go tagging the wolf den saying that you got rich by leveraging all your Bitcoin and it ran. I don't want credit for it. I don't want credit for your billions. I don't want blame for your implosions. First Form here, who I happened to actually got me really into crypto, says it happened like 9 times in 2017. So if any of you are surprised, you are playing a silly game by having no idea what you're getting into and you're listening to influencers. Here's the truth. I said this the other day. I have taught this in depth to very smart people and helped companies with this. It's called the fusion of innovations. The more influential a person is to the masses, generally speaking, the less competent they are, right? Dr. House does not put on a good face for the masses. Nobody likes him. He's a curmudgeon. He's weird. He breaks the rules, but he's extremely competent. Dr. Phil puts on a beautiful face for the masses. He's not terribly competent as an actual doctor. So if you are following influencers around, it is my opinion, if you are following influencers around, you are following the less competent crowd. Of course you're going to get wrecked. Of course they were wrong. Of course they're going to backtrack and they're going to start going, "Oh, well, obviously it's lengthening cycles." Never mind that I said for sure Bitcoin would be $300,000 by mid-December. Obviously it's lengthening cycles. That is what they do. You follow influencers, you're going to get wrecked. Okay? Because they are not terribly competent. Right? When I say competent, I don't mean they're stupid. I mean, they are not sitting in a lab doing research, peer-reviewed, back-testing, like in trading. They're not back-testing their ideas. They're just saying things that sound good, right? Because the people that are sitting there back-testing like a Monte Carlo simulation, a million different simulations like Bank of New York and Bernstein do, they do not have time to sit here and make overgeneralizations and oversimplify things on Twitter. That would be irresponsible for somebody that had that level of competence. Okay, same influencer's wallet shows they sold the bottom last night. Yeah, yep. They have no idea what they're doing, nor should they. It's not their job. The mistake is them thinking they're supposed to know what they're doing and telling you. Right? Their job on Diffusion of Innovation, an influence job, is to say, hey, you trust me. I can get your attention. I'm personable. Now, I'm not the expert. Go to this research. That's what influencers should be doing, in my opinion, because they're good at getting attention. They're good at connecting with people, and they should point them to valid references, right? Of course they don't, because they want to pretend like they're experts in everything. So beware. All those people that told you, got you in, they sold the dip last night. Now, here's the funny thing about the dip. Let me show you what you're panicking about, okay? This is a little bit different perspective. This is what I mean when I say keep time on your side. And it's not hard to keep time on your side. Bitcoin has 12 years, 11 or 12 years of data. So we're not guessing. Like, we can go down here and we go, Polkadot, Cardano. Like, these are fairly speculative, right? Solana, extremely speculative. Bitcoin has 12 years of data. 12 years. So, and as far as I can see, on a longer time frame, I am not an expert TA person. Look. Does that look broken? If you think Bitcoin is broken, it's because in your brain, in my opinion, in your brain, you believed those goofy influencers and you have it pegged out. You think it's broken because it's not $300,000 per Bitcoin. But that's a extremely faulty assumption. You named the puppy way too early. What did I say yesterday? My opinion is, if you name the puppy too soon, if you decide what it is and what it's going to look like and what has to go right, you've become in direct opposition with time and randomness, and you are going to lose. So if you needed a $300,000 Bitcoin to win in December, you're going to lose. If you have a macro belief in Bitcoin, the longer you've had that macro belief, the more you are winning. This does not, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert TA guy. I cannot look at this and think that it's broken. Sure, you can look at this and think that it's broken because somebody told you to buy right here and it's going to be $700,000 tomorrow. So you might think it's broken because you were operating from a faulty assumption that somebody else planted in your brain that you did not bother to backtest or fact check. That does not make Bitcoin or the market broken. It makes you a poor decision maker. It means maybe you don't trust yourself. Maybe you're a great decision maker, but you don't trust yourself, so you let poor decision makers make decisions for you. That's also very possible. I've talked about that as well. It's a decision-making matrix. We don't trust ourselves, so we abdicate responsibility to people that seem to have confidence, and then we get wrecked. The problem is we have no idea how to fix our operating system when we blindly follow other people. We don't know the reason, the logic, or the evidence they used to come to that conclusion, so therefore we cannot update the reasoning, the logic, or the influence, right? Or the evidence, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. So I don't see anything broken. I see you not getting what you expected. That's very possible. Your expectation is the broken thing, in my opinion, because I'm willing, over 12 years, this looks really good. I'm willing to bet that if we could chart your expectations over 12 years, they would not look so good relative to reality. If there's like a expectation chart, how accurate do things happen exactly the way I expected them to happen, especially if I adopted the belief from influencers, that chart would probably look like shit. So your poor expectation chart against the Bitcoin chart, I don't think it's the Bitcoin that's broken. Hope that makes sense. And I don't mean to attack anybody. That's just my opinion here, right? This doesn't look broken. Even better, let's look at a 3-month. Does this really look, let's look at a year. What is broken about this? 18,000 If you just drew a straight line, look at the trend. 18,000 to 48,000 in a year. What is broken about that? I will argue it's probably your expectation, but it was supposed to go to 300,000, 200,000. One, it still probably will. I believe that it will. It won't happen in your timeline, which is why I don't borrow up to my ears in Bitcoin, hoping that it happens in the timeline that I want, because then I run a high risk of getting liquidated, which means I have less Bitcoin, and I want time on my side. I don't care if this thing takes another 5 years to get there. It doesn't matter. I'm accumulating as much as I can. Bitcoin's my macro belief. I got a text where somebody said I would hold secret, I'm not going to tell you what it is, over Bitcoin long term. That's their macro belief. So if they ever see this on that asset, they're probably not panicking. They're probably just trying to find a way to buy more, right? So that's how you know if time is on your side. If you have a macro belief and time is on your side, when you see this, your first thought is, man, I need to buy more. Not, oh no, I'm poor now. You're only poor if you're thinking US dollars in this time frame. 1 month, a little dampy there. But again, we're looking at an asset that looks pretty good over a year, in my opinion. It's the expectations. It's the fact that we just think it's going to do this again, and it might. It might. All right, so again, this is from Benjamin Cohen. Here's another perspective. That right there, this right here, that's the dip that everybody's panicked about. I think you may have a time preference problem. This is the panic. If you said, oh my God, Bitcoin is broken, it's going to zero, we're all going to die, this is what you're panicking about. You have to kind of understand how silly and ridiculous you're going to sound for anybody that zooms out a little bit. Oh no, the world is over. The world is not over. You might be in a really shitty position because you did not keep time or randomness on your side. You needed time. You needed things to happen on an exact timeline that influencers probably sold you. And you could not handle the randomness. You needed it to go straight up and follow some model that your influencer or coach or whatever is following. You needed that to happen. That means randomness is more likely to hurt you, and time is certainly not on your side. You are racing time. I got to close this out by the new year and blah, 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 blah. You're racing time. You're going to lose. If you don't lose this time, you can win battles against time. It does happen. You will lose the war. You will get fucking obliterated in the war against time. So make it your friend so that all your opposition gets obliterated because you got time on your side, right? So that's the, everybody's trying to, oh man, I gotta, if I could just get a quick 10 million this year, like, yeah, join the club. Anybody would be happy to make a quick 10 million in December. But you don't fucking plan for it. You don't. I mean, you can, but you're going to get wrecked. So I saw the panic. Of course I saw the panic. Benjamin Cohen, by the way, he is low-key hilarious. You got to be kind of a nerd. But you just watch him over time and you start picking up on his humor. He's a funny guy, but he's very, very smart. Look at this Wolfgang. So people are like, oh, so you can say, you can go, this is definitely not a wolfish individual. It can go down more. Like it could go down and touch these support bands, right? Within reason. You just look at the support band. I trust Benjamin Cohen. He's very data driven. So yeah, it could come down more, right? But look how this works. Even if it just cruises along the bottom support band, which it wouldn't do, eventually the bottom of the support band is higher than the all-time high. Time's on our side. Time's on our side. You are in a rush. Do not blame the market for your urgency. Do not blame anybody else for your own urgency. That is on you. Do not blow up my inbox because of your urgency. Do not panic and spread fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD because of your urgency. You are the problem. I understand you got life shit. You got debt. You got loans. You got whatever. And had you put time and randomness on your side a long time ago, you'd be a lot better off. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. Put time and randomness on your side now, or you're going to keep kicking this can down the road till you blow yourself up. If you're in that position, okay? There is a really good, let me see if I can find it. There's a really good chart that I love. And keep in mind that all models will break. I truly believe that all models will break. They have to. But until they do, we got to follow something, right? We can't just live in fear, uncertainty, and doubt all the time. So this is a spiral model, right, based on halvings. This is one based on time. For those of you that don't understand, Bitcoin is not on a 4-year cycle. I actually don't really believe in a 4-year cycle, but it doesn't really matter what I believe. Just showing you this. People think Bitcoin is a 4-year cycle. More accurately, it's a 210,000 block, I think, 210,000 block cycle, right? Which happens to be about 4 years, but it's not exactly 4 years. So this is showing human time, right? Look how consistent this is. This is Bitcoin price over time. First peak, boom, boom. First all-time high after consolidation, boom. These blue dots are all all-time highs. So we had another one right there. This model's not broken yet. It's not broken yet. It could. It very well could. You just roll right over and it could come down. But it's not broken. This is 12 years of consistency. Your time preference, your urgency is broken. Now watch this. Does this make sense? Like this is 12. Find me an asset on this planet, and this will break eventually. You can't just go to $1 gazillion. But it hasn't broken yet. Hasn't broken yet. So unless you have a better guide other than, Alex Becker and Dan Henry, then you got to follow something. So this hasn't broken yet. This is time. Okay. Now, Bitcoin doesn't actually, crypto doesn't actually work in time. It works in blocks. So when somebody says this contract unlocks in 12 days and 5 hours, it's actually an estimate. It's actually a number of blocks that will take about 12 days and 5 hours. It won't be exactly because smart contracts aren't programmed in time. They're programmed in blocks. So this is the block chart, which is even better because it shows based on block, we're still on track, and that all-time high will be somewhere right here. So we're not behind. We're not behind if we look at blocks. Of course, if we cruise right by here and we dip down or we even cry, like these things can break, but they haven't broken. They haven't broken. Of course, we can always cherry pick data to make our argument. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at consistency. I'm looking at boom, a peak there. Looking at peaks here. So this shows the consistency more than the chart. I cannot imagine. It might exist. Somebody find me an asset, a stock, any asset class or any single asset that has shown this consistency over 12 years. It's volatile, day to day, entirely unpredictable. Nobody could have expected last night a 40% pullback, but a lot of people expected a 40% pullback. The reason you maybe didn't hear about it is because they are spending 12 hours a day digging deep into the history of the markets, Forex, blockchain. They're not sitting around tweeting, going, hey, everybody, here's my video, share it with the world. Experts are not influencers. Influencers are not experts. I am not an expert. I'm not an influencer either. I sit somewhere in between. I will never claim to be an expert in anything. This is my perspective. I am surrounded by experts. I'm very fortunate to have some very smart people that talk sense into me. And I turn around and I just do my best to share my perspective. Okay? So if you think it's broken, if you think it's going to zero, if you think anything, show me a model that suggests any of this is broken. More than likely, almost guaranteed, what is broken is that it is not living up to your expectations And here's the issue. Here's the problem. Bitcoin didn't make you any fucking promises. The market didn't make you any promises. You did not study the history of what you're investing in, because if you had, you would not be alarmed right now. You would not be alarmed. You let somebody else make a decision for you. You let some influencer, some guru, some Twitter guy or YouTube guy tell you what to expect. Shame on you. I'm not even mad at them. People like me right here, I can go live and say whatever I want, and nobody should be mad at me for it. Shame on you for not having the ability to discern that this person 6 weeks ago was teaching Facebook ads unsuccessfully, and now they're making market calls. Like, if you don't recognize that, shame on you. Not shame on them, not shame on the market, not shame on Bitcoin, not shame on Nexo for letting you borrow against your Bitcoin. It's brilliant. You know how much free Bitcoin they got last night? Everybody getting liquidated? Brilliant. I wish I could take your Bitcoin and let you borrow against it. I'll give you cash for your Bitcoin all day long. Right? So how about we don't blame other people, and if we're going to pretend like we're betting heavy on an asset, or we believe in an asset, how about we do some diligence? Right? Do I buy stuff without researching it? Yes. I'll tell you why. Because Padram tells me to buy it. PD tells me to buy it. Put him on the spot here. And I trust him. And guess what? He doesn't have a crystal ball. Things go up, things go down. Doesn't matter. He knows the market better than I do. I trust him. I don't blame him if I lose money. And, you know, I pretty much just want to send him more when I make money. So hopefully this is just a different perspective. Nothing's broken. If you're panicked right now, leave me alone. I'm sorry. It sucks. I don't like seeing people in pain, but this is very self-inflicted. You got greedy. You got FOMO. You believed a bunch of people about what was what and what wasn't what. And that's where you're at. I don't make calls. What I do is I say, do your own research, figure out what you believe. I will share my beliefs. You don't have to adopt them. You should adopt your own. And then develop a plan that keeps randomness and time on your side. Randomness and time is on my side. Okay? So let me give you some examples. Some of them very self-serving. Ethereum. What's Ethereum right now? This is what happens when you have a macro belief and you've put time and randomness on your side. Ethereum's $4,000. It was $4,600, $4,800 a couple days ago. So if you have a macro belief in these Wolfsaw NFWs, which are going to be, I obviously do, and a lot of our members do, time and randomness is on your side, right? You went to bed last night, you woke up this morning, and if you truly believe for fundamental reasons, or you believe in the team, you can now get more of these at a discount. Now, it's not fair to wake up and go, B&B is at a discount, because it's only at a discount if you have a macro belief in it. Cheap shit does not mean discounted shit, right? Like, how many people bought discounted Beanie Babies until they were worth nothing? Oh, Beanie Babies on a discount. And then they just raced to zero. So something is only at a discount if you believe its inherent value is far greater than what it is now. Okay, so 0.42 ETH is cheaper in US dollar. You can get more per US dollar. So if you have a belief that these are worth 0.42 ETH or more, then right now they're on a discount relative to the US dollar. If you have no idea what these are and you have no belief in them and you think they're totally pointless, then guess what? They're not at a discount. They're not. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay? So time and randomness on my side. Here we had a talk yesterday about upside exposure. Now, you can see here the way I have built all of this is my solvable problem. I'm well on track. This is my test account. This is not my main account. This is stuff I play with every day. My main account is actually an autopilot. I don't actively manage my main account. Somebody else does, given the rules. So here in NightSwap in my play account, that's got market exposure. So this damped down last night. Don't care. It's coming back. This damped down. Don't care. I want as much night as possible. But here's the thing. I got $9,000 in BUSD right there. and I got $35,000 in BUSD right here. Okay? So I have set myself up so that if I see Bitcoin at 48 grand, and it's a macro belief, I can go and I can pull 35 plus 9, right? Because this is stable. This did not suffer from the crash. I have more buying power right now than I did yesterday. I'll probably buy $40,000 of Bitcoin. More than likely, here's a pro tip for you guys. Because Knight, we couldn't do any buybacks yesterday because BSC, because Knight's under 60 cents, I'll probably buy a shit ton of Knight instead. But do you see how I made randomness my friend? Nobody wants to keep stables. They're like, oh, US dollar sucks. And like, sure. But in a day like today, the whole market damped, and I had some buying power in my golden goose in BUSD. BUSD did not damp. So time is on my side. Randomness is on my side. If the market rips, here's where everybody fails. Because the market could rip. We all think the market's going to rip in December, right? So they don't have any stables because they don't want to miss the upside. Guess what? Today they have less buying power than I do. Had they turned all their BUSD into crypto yesterday or the day before because they wanted all the upside, they would be entirely damped right now. They would not benefit from this particular drawback, whereas I am going to benefit from the drawback because I wasn't chasing the upside. I had a solvable problem, and the way that you put time, right? How do you benefit from randomness? We all think it's going to go up, so everybody's going to try to get as much exposure to all of the coins as possible. If we all think it's going to go up, what would randomness be? Randomness would be, well, what if it goes down? The answer is, well, then I want a shit ton of dry powder if it goes down. Because I'm macro, I'm bullish on it on a macro. Does that make sense? That is how you keep time on your side, and that is how you have randomness benefit you. Everybody knows it's going up. Put all your cash into Bitcoin. Cool, you put all your cash into Bitcoin at 60 grand. Over time, you're going to be fine. I really believe. I think Bitcoin's going to trade well over 100,000 and then well over 200 and then maybe into the millions, truly. However, randomness is a thing. I talked about it yesterday at nauseum. Randomness is a thing. If everything's going up, how do we prepare for it to go down? Well, had 40 grand in stables just sitting here. I can almost buy an entire Bitcoin today. Whereas if all that cash was tied up in stables, the whole entire thing would go down. I would not have more buying power. Go ahead and push a like button. People in the comments are complaining about the lack of like buttons. Okay. So it's just a different perspective. Nothing's broken. Nothing's broken. Let's see what we got here. I don't think I said anything useful ever in my life. Base case and chill. Everybody should have their cover photos. Base case and chill. Today is a great example. So again, I did post this. This is what you're all panicking about. The world is over. This looks great. The world is over. No, looks great. It just doesn't look the way you want it to look to get as rich as you want to get. And guess what? Most people don't have any dry powder right now because they were so greedy. They did not want to keep time and randomness on their side. They locked it all up in crypto assets, and they have no powder to increase their position here. So if you have a macro belief in a thing, right, and that thing just drew back and you still believe in it, having some dry powder around would be a huge benefit to you. It puts you on your side. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, look at this. If you're in the Moonshot Mastermind, I posted this Jeff Spencer video from the Dallas event. So check that out. Okay. So Knight, not worried about Knight at all. We know it's growing. The TVL is actually holding up pretty well, but just all the assets that are being held drew back. So when the TVL recover, or when those assets recover, the TVL will skyrocket. I'm accumulating as much Knight as possible. I'm accumulating as much Dark Knight as possible. I know what's coming in Dark Knight. I shared it with our Guardian tier yesterday or the day before. So I'm not even, I give zero cares about the price of this right now. The only thing is all the FUD. People that don't understand how to use a DEX are like, oh, what about the price of the token? And, frankly, I'm okay with them selling off. As long as the core people know that we're going to let them sell off, we will buy it all back, and we will launch the things that send it to the moon. Like the price, we won't shoot a DEX token truly to the moon like a 10x, but the price will very easily double once we roll out the next steps. We're just kind of letting people sell off and letting the people in the know accumulate as much as possible. To me, Night is a buy under 60 cents. You do your own research about under 60. I yield Night for the most part, and I pair it, or I use the pools or raids. But under 60 cents, it's a buy. And guess what? I keep randomness and time on my side, so I have a lot of dollars, BUSD, to buy. If you only had BNB, which is fine, right? Your BNB actually drew back almost 10% in the last 7 days, but 6%. So you have 7% less buying power than you did 24 hours ago. So, yeah, US dollar. Not a fan of the US dollar. But to keep time on your side, when everybody thinks everything is going up, I'm keeping US dollar on hand. BUSD, right? I'm not US dollar. I'm actually keeping like USDT, BUSD, USDC, because I am preparing for randomness. It seems to be very simple and straightforward. I am realizing more and more that people are struggling with the concept of not having an answer. There is no answer. I cannot give you an answer. I can only tell you how I plan to be in the best position possible given any scenario. It is based on a macro belief, okay? You have to have a macro belief. You don't have to believe in Bitcoin. Do not blindly believe in Bitcoin because I do. Some people Ethereum. I'm going heavier and heavier into Ethereum. I might have... I probably still have more Bitcoin, but they're pretty close there, which is weird. Most portfolios aren't like that. I don't think about my ratio very often. But you have to have a macro belief. If your macro belief is US dollar, groovy. That's great. Get more US dollar. Plan for randomness. I was 30 minutes into the Jeff Spencer video when you went live. It's good stuff. It's gold. It is gold. It is. And if you are in the Degeneering event, if you're in the Wolf Den, or you are in the Moonshot Mastermind, then I'll make sure you get that video. All right, I'm just waiting for it to get uploaded to YouTube, so I don't have to share that giant file. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful and gives you a little bit of a different view. Like nothing is broken. It's not going the way you want it to. It's not going the way I want it to. What kind of sociopath? So half joking question here. What kind of sociopath believes that when things don't go exactly the way they want when they want, that they're broken? Like the world is broken if it doesn't do exactly what I expect it to do. And my expectations were made up out of nowhere. But what kind of sociopathic human being believes that something's broken for not doing exactly what they want it to do? That seems ridiculous to me. It's just me though. My opinion. You can have a conflicting opinion. That's fine. I do not think that any single person is so important that the whole entire universe and the whole entire market should bend to their will. And if you know how a market works, the more people that are demanding something happen a certain way, the less likely it's going to happen, because there are traders that are smarter than all of us, that are faster than all of us, that can read volume and all the metrics and indicators I don't even know how to use. If they all know that we're trying to do the same thing, they are going to front run it. By virtue of everybody publicly expecting the same thing, it almost guarantees it is not going to happen. Because smart people, it's game theory. It's like game theory 101. Go to like Udemy or Coursera. See if you can get a game theory class from Stanford or something. And they I think it was the Stanford game theory class. Explains it really well. It explains it very, very well. If the mass market is very clearly shooting for a certain thing publicly, then people that reason one step further and are a little bit faster with a little bit of inside knowledge and know how to trade a little bit faster are going to front run it. And that thing is not going to happen. It's not going to happen because it was predicted or broadcasted, right? So last thing, and then I'm out of here for today, is if every news anchor in the world predicts the weather to be the same, every news anchor in Seattle, Washington says today is going to rain, and everybody's in agreement, we all act accordingly. We have our umbrellas and our raincoats, our rain gear, yada, yada, yada. That forecast does not change the weather, right? That's one kind of prediction. The market is a different kind of prediction, meaning the very fact that every single analyst said, if they said, hey, Bitcoin is going to crash tomorrow, and everybody was in agreement, it would crash because of the prediction. Everybody would go, whoa, all the experts agree, I got to sell. It would be a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So you have to realize, if you know anything about game theory, you have to realize that if the prediction changes the outcome, not like the weather prediction doesn't change the weather, market prediction can change the behavior of the participants in the market, which changes the market. So if the prediction can change the outcome and all the predictions are the same, the one thing we know for sure is that those predictions are going to be wrong, especially if they're to the upside, right? Or they're going to cause themselves. They're going to be self-fulfilling. If every single person, Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, Jordan Lindsay, Alan Ayu, Eric Crown, all these people, Benjamin Cohen, they all said, hey, yeah, Bitcoin's going to crash to $20,000 tomorrow. Everybody was in agreement. That prediction alone would cause the crash, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, what's interesting is if they say Bitcoin is for sure going to $100,000 tomorrow, for sure, it would not necessarily cause it, but a bunch of people would front run it. A bunch of people would be like, oh, the whole world's buying Bitcoin tomorrow. Cool. I'm going to move it all onto exchange and sell on the top of their head. Thanks for making my exit easy for me. Right? So what we know is that predictions to the upside, mass market belief to the upside in a short time frame almost guarantees that it doesn't happen. That's not new. Let's see what we got. All right. So just be aware of these things. Nothing's broken. I don't see anything broken. That's not to say that it won't be broken. It might be broken. It could be broke by January. We might be looking all over to try and find some model to explain what's going on. I don't know. But as of right now, let's go back to the root. This is the root, the rational root. As of right now, nothing's broken, especially by block cycle. Okay, your expectations, your demand that the universe bend to your will because you're impatient and somehow you think you're going to be the one person that defies time and randomness, that's the problem. Okay. What I'm going to do, if you are interested, is I have enough Bitcoin. I never thought I would say that. I have enough Bitcoin. I'll probably buy some Bitcoin today. Just a little bit of Bitcoin. I'll probably buy some helium today because somebody I trust bought a bunch of helium last night and I just blindly follow people I trust. The caveat is I never, ever, ever complain. That's the difference. And I'm probably going to buy some night. I'm going to buy a nice big chunk of night because the more uncertainty there is in the market, the more night that I want. It's a DEX token. I might even buy... I don't think I'm going to buy more Guardian, although I should. See this? This is the only token that, like, people celebrate when it damps down. Last night, there was a sell-off. I knew it was coming. Somebody actually said, hey, I got to sell some Wolfies to pay some bills. I said, cool, do it. The community will be stoked because this is the only thing that people are sitting around hoping it goes down so they can buy more. You can see, boom, damp down, came right back up. It's still a little bit down here. So if you have a macro belief in Wolf Pup NFTs or Wolf Pup the token, then you would consider this a discount. If you have no idea what this is and you just think you want to buy it and sell it later, this is not a discount. Don't buy it. Go away. Get away from my ecosystem. And then Guardian. I might buy more Guardian. I have a lot of Guardian, and it's unpaired. I don't have all my Guardian paired because I'm protecting the ecosystem. So I'm just walking. This is my thought process. If Guard ever goes below 10 cents, I'm just buy. It's a buy for me because we actually have. You see this consistency here. We have very consistent recurring buys. I can imagine if somebody made a huge exit, it might go below 10%, but then it's just going to do this right on the way back up. So I probably won't buy Guard today. Definitely won't buy Wolfies. I have millions of dollars of Wolfies. But if you're trying to get a Wolf Pup, that's what I would do. I'm probably going heavy in Bitcoin, heavy in Night, maybe helium. I got to figure out the best way to buy helium in the United States. No panic, nothing's broken. Okay, so chill, base case and chill. Don't copy I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Don't copy my moves. I'm not telling you I'm an expert. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm telling you that this is what you're panicked about. Step back. If you are okay being the kind of adult human being, like mature, over 12 years old human being that can see this and panic about this, maybe like look in the mirror and just consider your life. Like, here's what I know. If you're panicked about this, you're probably not a leader. You probably don't have a lot of perspective. You probably don't know how to zoom out. You probably make a big deal out of things that on the grand scale don't matter, which means you probably waste a lot of energy and have a lot of anxiety about a whole lot of nothing. That's okay. No judgment. Just know that about yourself. That's what you're panicked about. And if you, took money out of your kid's college fund or took a huge loan or did any kind of stupid high risk thing because you were certain this was going to go straight up, then you're greedy and you're not very smart. That was not a very smart thing to do. Right? So just understand that about yourself and correct it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Get time back on your side. I know you feel urgent. I know you feel rushed. I know you feel like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? That is the exact kind of behavior that got you in this position. You're not going to behave your way out of this position with the same behavior that got you into this position. Slow down. Put time on your side. Yeah, it might take a couple years to recover. It might take a couple months. It might take a couple weeks. I don't know. But continuing to behave this way is going to set you further and further and further and further behind. The evidence suggests this behavior puts you behind. If you're panicked right now, it was your behavior that put you in this position. Belief in influencers, whatever. Okay? To believe in Bitcoin, it really is the last thing here. To believe in Bitcoin, truly believe in Bitcoin, not pretend like you believe in it so you can get rich. To believe in Bitcoin, or to believe in Wolf Pups, or to believe in Ethereum means you would understand this, you would put time on your side, and you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care when the price dips. In fact, a true belief in Bitcoin, just like Wolfies, a true belief in Bitcoin over a long time period, you'd be saying, man, I wanted to come back down here. I should have bought more when it was down here, right? Because it was here, and then boom, and everybody was panicking. I should have bought more when it was down here. Because if you bought more at 32 grand, 29 grand, look at that. You're still at a double, almost a double. You were at a double yesterday, right? Like, so if you have a true belief, you're saying, man, I should have bought more right here. That's all right. Next time. All right, I should have bought more right here. You're panicking right here. You don't have a true belief. You're saying, oh shit, I should maybe I should look at when my next entry is, because I could probably buy more here. Maybe it goes down further. That'd be great. Let me get some powder ready. You know? So just don't lie to yourself that you have a macro belief in Bitcoin if this worries you. This excites the shit out of people. You think anybody that has an average buy price of $29,000 is upset right now? They shouldn't be. Most of the people were panic selling right here. The people that are happy, especially up here, are the ones that were buying right here. The ones that were buying right here probably have a macro belief in Bitcoin over a long period of time. That doesn't mean you should. It doesn't mean everybody should. I do not believe everybody should share the same macro belief. If everybody shared the same macro belief, there would be no market. That's what makes a market work. We all have different timelines and beliefs. And like, there's nothing for me to buy at 29 grand if nobody in the world is willing to sell it for 29 grand. I cannot have a macro belief and accumulate the dips if everybody on the planet refuses to create a dip. Like, so it's a market. So appreciate you guys. There's no answer. The answer is get in a better position all the time. Stop panicking. Nothing's broken yet. It might be broken on the timeline that you want, and I'm sorry. That's how it goes. The world does not revolve around you. It does not revolve around me. I can't imagine the headspace people live in when they think that the world should revolve around them, but to each their own. Appreciate you all. Hope this was helpful. Share it if it was. Give it a thumbs up. And I'm going to go jump into the Discord.